So this is Ray. Some of you may have seen on my Facebook page recently this little diagram that goes over what I call the Uranus Pluto square aftermath. It's more or less like the unfolding of what is to come. So it's a delayed effect of this Uranus Pluto square that everybody has been freaking out about is colorfully shown on this diagram here. All the orange spots are the ones that are squares and hard aspects. The other ones are going to be trines and sextiles, which will kind of help us get through stuff for the next 10 years. I know it sounds long, but we're going to go through some major growth changes, and I'll tell you why. Let's go ahead and just break it down chronologically, shall we? Actually, in about 3 or 4 days from now, 2015, there's going to be Jupiter square Saturn. That's signified by instant growth or shrinkage of government, cultural institutions, religious institutions especially. Saturn, it's retrograde right now in Scorpio, but the major impact it's going to have is when it's going to be direct in Sagittarius. We're going to be seeing governments toppling, other governments taking advantage of the toppling governments by taking over any of their influential power. There will be others who will decide to go in agreement with each other and become allied forces or a one government. There will be others trying to overpower other governments. There might be some sort of passive-aggressive power struggle going on that it might be just blackmail and then financial corruption, which is a lot of what I assume was happening to Greece with the EU. The other major aspect that's going to be happening this year is going to be Neptune square Saturn. So Neptune is the ruler of the sea. It also is correlates with wildlife, nature, and any of our natural resources. And Saturn, again, is the structure, the discipline, the restraint. That means that we're going to have limited natural resources. Our water might be contaminated. It might be scarce. We're going to see more droughts. We're going to see sea life, wildlife dying because of something dealing with the oceans. There will be major inconsistencies that will cause all kinds of weather catastrophes. But then we go on to 2016. We'll have more of the Jupiter square Saturn. There's 2 more of those. And then we see our first trine, which will be Uranus trining Saturn. So this is going to be symbolizing that individual influence is actually going to have an effect and be positively impacting the institution. Because unfortunately for the institutions, there's more of us than there are of them. So something's got to give, and when the collective starts to get on board and understands what's going on, there's only so much you can do to keep the entire mob back. We've got Jupiter squaring Pluto. Indicate how our resources are dwindling because of our excessive waste. That might even be showing that there will be famine and death associated with our excessive waste, especially those in Western countries like the areas that I live in. Then we've got Neptune squaring Saturn again 2 more times. I already went over that. And then we're going to have Jupiter again squaring Pluto. I already went over that. And then we're also going to have another trine with Uranus and Saturn. I went over that. And then we have another Jupiter square Pluto, and I went over that. And then also to another thing that I'm interpreting why Uranus squaring Saturn is going to be the evolutionary voice impacting the government institutions is because even though this won't be a yod, there is a sextile with Jupiter and Saturn. So not only are we going to have 2 different trines with Uranus and Saturn within a year and a half, right in between those here is going to be the sextile with Jupiter and Saturn. That positive energy, we have the potential to make our world a better place through our government institutions, changing one law at a time and putting people in their place that have been corrupting the system and poisoning us all. Theoretically, and I guess directly speaking. So then we have another trine with Uranus and Saturn. So we have a square with Jupiter and Neptune. So if you see here, first month in the year 2019, then halfway through the year again, and then towards the end of the year, we're going to have 3 different squares with Jupiter squaring Neptune. As you kind of get the gist of it, Jupiter's expansiveness, excessive, and Neptune is, limitless sea. That we're going to be going through some changes that will probably result in thousands of casualties, depending on how bad it hits, where it hits, and what happens. So there's been some scares with there being tsunamis, the sea level rising. Look at this here, Jupiter excessiveness with squaring Neptune. That signifies flooding, some sort of flooding. If you see in between these, there's a Neptune sextile Saturn. that's obviously supposed to be a positive creative energy, and that could help with finding new ways to preserve natural resources. We're going to find a way to desalt ocean waters. But unfortunately, this energy is going to continue to flow throughout this entire year. Even though this is supposed to be positive energy, that energy can still contribute to the excessive tsunamis that I'm assuming are going to be happening because of this. Uranus squaring Jupiter, that basically I think is translating to kind of symbolism for the end of the age of Pisces. Like I said, it could be representing a conflict of how much wastefulness we do, excessiveness things we have. Could be population growth, or it could be enlightenment or religious things. We have a conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn, and this is going to be our opportunity with Jupiter conjunct Saturn to rebuild structure and to implement it into our culture. And then Pluto's going to be conjunct Saturn as well, which is another symbol for ultimate transformation with structure that needs to happen, that will happen one way or another. And then we also have Neptune trining Saturn. That could symbolize a collective union with our Mother Earth. We might be going a little bit more green then. Find new ways to sustain ourselves. We have Uranus square Saturn again throughout 2021 and up to 2024 actually. And then it's going to be again in 2025, Jupiter squaring Saturn yet again with the growth and contracting, growth and contracting. So right now when Jupiter goes squares Saturn, it's our time to see what is working, what is not working, what can we focus on, and what can we discard. That's thinking more of like the Virgo Jupiter sense. And then when we finally have discarded everything that's not working for us, and we finally dwindled it down to what is functioning, then those things will prosper and grow, and we will benefit from those, and they will become institutionalized with Saturn. And we're going to have another struggle with growth and shrinkage into mid-2020s, so 25, 26, 27. There's going to be a lot of ruckus going on as for energy. It took 7 years for all those alignments to happen, and even if it didn't take 7 years, even from one alignment, it could take years for it to actually manifest.